Okay, we've got Will Dennis. He's the head of sustainability at Bamford. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Positive Luxury Award winner, 2 years running.
Yep.
So we're very excited about that. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us a bit about Bamford and the role that sustainability plays in your business? Now, your role is obvious, but in the business.
My role is obvious?
Well, the role sustainability plays, if you're the head of sustainability, I'm going to presume pretty critical.
It means that I'm the head of everything. Surely.
You are. You're in charge. You're God at Bamford.
Yeah, exactly.
That's incredible.
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, Bamford is how do we describe it, Natalie? It is an all-encompassing wellness lifestyle brand. So we do everything from beauty, skincare to textiles, fashion and homeware. We've also got a wellness brand that includes spas across the world. And we've recently opened our snazzy new members club up on the farm. And sustainability has been at the heart of it ever since it was founded by Carol Bamford nearly 20 years ago now. And it's genuinely woven all the way through. I think it's the only business that I cover, and I look after a few other brands who genuinely every conversation that we're having around the table says, yes, but what's the impact of that going to be? Now, we don't always get it right, but it's really nice to see that we've still got a little bit of connection to the way the brand was started.
How long have you been working there?
I've been working for Lady B for nearly 7 years.
Lady B has staff with incredibly long service. So I'm always very interested in people at Bamford and Daylesford. How long have you been there? And the answer is always quite long. Tell me what's changed and what's evolved in the time since the business was founded and the time you've been there. You know, obviously with a lens on sustainability, given your garden at the center of everything.
Thank you very much. Of course. So it's definitely evolved. When the brand started, it was fairly small, I think it's probably safe to say, but we now do, as I said, a huge range of different products. The product ranges are expanding a huge amount every year. And we've now gone into, as I say, the more physical buildings. So we have spas and we have this wonderful members club. We've just launched, or tomorrow is it launching, our new baby range. So this is a new foray for us as well.
Nice.
So the range of products has definitely evolved. But as I say, the core hasn't really changed since Lady B set it up. So I've tried my best since I took over the sustainability role 2 years ago to try and reconfigure the sustainability pillars and try and make them match Daylesford, one of our other brands. But it's not possible. They're just so strong. So we're predominantly looking at 4, which is natural materials, supporting artisan crafts, producing things that are designed to endure the test of time. So not just trying to support fast fashion, but give people items they never need to replace. It's kind of a self-defeating purpose, but it seems to work quite well. And then the most important one, which is community and collaboration. We've got some amazing ties with some manufacturers in India. The Lady Bamford Charitable Trust runs a wonderful education and skills-based project out there. And then we try and, whenever we can, build in some kind of community element to every new range that we do. So at the moment, we've got our spring, summer 23 range out at the moment. We're working with a couple of charities like the Blue Marine Foundation, just trying to work out how every time we do a capsule, we can build something new in that we can then embed going forward.
That brings me beautifully onto the topic of innovation. So Bamford has won the Product Innovation Award 2 years running. Last year for what we felt was a highly, highly innovative project around merino wool and bringing craft back to the UK and supporting that. And then they've just won this week for their new serum, which basically all the women this morning we were setting up, we've all been lusting after the product. So it's all very, very exciting, but a completely sort of different type of sustainability, really diving into bio and things like that as a solution for beauty products. So talk to us about both of these, where innovation and the role it played when you're developing these collections and these products, and why in both cases the judges, who are independent, agreed with our sort of shortlisting of you, and really why you think you guys have stood out, not 1, but 2 years in a row.
I know, yeah, quite the achievement, I think, for us, certainly trying to do it 2 years in a row, let alone the first time. So merino, to start off with, it felt like the start of a logic-based decision, which are most of my decisions in sustainability, which we have an organic farm. We have a wonderful textile brand who uses organic fibers. Why can't we work together? And so we looked around the market and said, what can we produce for Bamford that's high-end enough to appeal to that customer, whilst also engaging our farming team and doing something differently? So we got in contact with probably the UK's leading pedigree merino sheep lady called Leslie Pryor, and we bought a flock of merino sheep off her back in the back end of 2018, 2019.
Cool.
Just as you do.
Why not?
Yeah, let's get a flock of merino sheep in.
Let's do it.
They then went into organic conversion and became, at the time, the UK's only organically certified merino flock. And from that, we were then able to produce organic merino wool. Yep. So we said, right, what can we do? So we came up with a load of really cool designs and ended up with a merino hoodie, a merino beanie, and a merino scarf. And the idea was we took the wool from Richard, our head of farms, and sent it up to a few of our partners in the Midlands, and then up into one of our long-standing knitwear partners in Scotland. Yep. Created this wonderful merino garment that usually would have somewhere around an 18,000-mile transport footprint, coming from New Zealand, then going to China for washing, then Portugal for knitting, then back to the UK. And we did all of that on UK soil. So annoyingly, the shop that it was sold in is next to the farm, and it had to do this big long journey to get back. But at the end of that whole journey, it was just under 640 miles rather than 18,000 miles. 96% of the transport emissions were saved. And then on top of that, we left it completely undyed. So we're saving about 12,000 litres of water compared to what we did in the dyeing process, and keeping it all in-house and using some of our small-scale artisan producers that we've been using for many years, supporting those family heritage craft businesses. So it was a real warm and fuzzy, feel-good project, born out of logic, because why wouldn't you do it if you have the ability to do it? You've got the supply chain there. And it just seemed crazy at the time that no one else was doing exactly the same thing. And obviously the idea through the awards is that you encourage more people to make those decisions. So that's gone really well. We're about to launch Merino 2.0. So that's currently in development, because we ended up putting everything on the shelf, hoping that they'd be ready for Christmas. I think they sold out 6 weeks before Christmas. So we're going to do a bigger range this year. We've worked on a lot of the learnings that we had in terms of the amount of waste that comes off with the scouring in terms of organic material. So hopefully Merino 2.0, really
even stronger than 1.0.
Even stronger story, fingers crossed. Cool. And we're doing a lot more collaboration this time. So watch this space.
You've created some sheep obsessives in this business.
One key sheep obsessive.
One particular sheep obsessive back there. She's, it's a little bit crazy, but are you going to make her a biotech obsessive now this year?
Well, hopefully she already is.
She's already there? Okay.
Yeah. Can you not see the effect of the serum glowing?
She is glowing. I would say that,
So the serum was again, it was such an amazing project because it felt really logical. And I am entirely emotionless and only driven by logic. So just like, yes, fantastic.
He seems quite emotionally proud of his work, doesn't he?
I'm trying to be really cool.
Okay, all right. Okay, gotcha.
And essentially we decided that we wanted to explore this thing called biotech. We didn't know what it was, and we wanted to find a way that we could potentially incorporate it in one of our products. And we came across some really innovative lab technicians over in Switzerland who were producing this stem cell technology just from using a single leaf of alpine rose. So we were able to capture all of the wonderful DNA, and someone will have to prompt me from my marketing team if I forget all of these things, but this is an alpine rose grown organically on the top of a mountain. There's no special cultivated land put aside for it. It's essentially a wildflower, but it withstands temperatures from 0 to 40 degrees over the year, and it has all of these amazing properties that just fitted in with a really effective skincare regime. And we said, well, how can we harness that without having to take up this huge amount of... Yeah, exactly. So we worked with this biotech team in Switzerland, and we found a bottling plant just down the road. We said, right, how can we turn this now into a really local capsule? So rather than getting packaging from wherever, we shopped around. We found a packaging supplier just over the other side of the Alps in Milan. So we drove the bottles from Milan into Switzerland, picking up the ingredients as they went, and then next to the lake, put it all together, and then shipped it over to Bamford. So again, we went after the transport emissions. We went after the resource saving. So again, not taking up any land use to create products for ourselves. The lab uses pretty much no water, about 10% of the normal amount of water that we use in skincare, and is powered by Swiss hydropower. Like every time they rang me on the phone, I was like, yes, I'm writing this down in the awards. They're not for another year, but I'm going to write all this stuff down. And then to the point where, we were just about to submit the awards, and they rang me again. And they said, oh, would you like to meet the farmer that picked the alpine rose? I said, yeah, we've got to have that in there. So we met a lovely chap called Urs Heinrich. He's our man. We met his dog, and it was just a really lovely story. And we thought, right, I think this is quite a nice package to present to Positive Luxury. It's innovative in terms of trying to switch on the beauties of biotech, but it's also a little bit different. It's got a community feel, and it's also got the core bits of sustainability in terms of emissions. I got to have my play with data and Excel spreadsheets, so I was happy. And we thought, wouldn't it be great if we could follow the success of our textiles vertical with something in the beauty and skincare? And obviously, the judges agreed with us that that was quite a cool idea.
It was.
So now we need to switch on the homeware and interiors for next year's awards.
Yeah, we look forward to your application.
So we're in discussion with that team to see what we need to do.
We're expecting big things, no pressure.
Well, you wait.
Okay, so okay, I'm excited. So talk to us about how you take all this amazing work, quite a lot of detail on this, and the different things that you're going after, as you called it. Nice language, like it. How do you turn that into claims and into a story that you feel confident making in marketing terms, and that you feel you can really back up and deal with inevitable criticism? And how do you approach that as a business?
I mean, it's challenging because every time we do something like this, whether it's at Bamford or even in any of our other brands like Delsford, we have to make sure that we are true to our values first and foremost, and that's always a challenge when there's somebody next to you saying, well, we just need to make this as commercial as possible and make lots of money from it. So you've got to make sure that there is at least a value-based proposition that started the project that you can always go back to. And then we trial it, we test it out on each other. So before we do any kind of marketing copy, we'll all sit down in a room together and say, can we say this? And just be really uber critical about it and say, well, technically there was that one time where we didn't quite use that piece of equipment or whatever it was. Let's take it out. Let's improve it for next time and make sure that everything is watertight. And as I said, we try and stick to our 4 sustainability pillars in everything that we do. But there are times when you just have to try something, make some mistakes, and then go back and improve it for next time. So I suppose when we get to marketing, it probably can come across sometimes a little bit safe. But that's only because we never want to get to the stage where we've made a claim that we may change the following year, or that we can no longer back up because we've changed supplier. And we're a growing business, which is it's what you have to do in order to continue. And as I said, we're just trying our best to keep telling really genuine stories and stick to those. And then when we are trying to innovate, try and see if we can innovate in a way that we would be proud of now and both in 10 years in the future. So it's genuinely a really challenging thing. That was a very wishy-washy answer. But it is one thing that probably is the biggest challenge in my day-to-day.
Do certifications like the Butterfly Mark and lots of the others you have, do they help with that challenge?
Yeah, absolutely. So the only way that we can genuinely guarantee that what we're saying to our customers is legitimate is if we have things like the Butterfly Mark backing up our claims. So we love to have third-party. So awards are fantastic for that, but also just the general structure that we have surrounding the business. So the best thing about doing the positive luxury assessment, the ESG assessment, has been that not only can we highlight all of the wonderful things that we already do, but we can actually, it's a shortcut for a head of sustainability, because if you have no idea what you're doing like me, you can just go to somebody like George and say, right, what's my 5-year strategy, please? And she'll say, well, you're great at this, but you need to work on these things. So positive luxury is the way that we reassure the wider world that what we're saying is genuine. And then the best thing about it is that we will always then have some gaps that we need to improve on. And I'm really excited about the evolution of the platform and all of the things that we still want to improve on in terms of where our supply chain is growing to. And if we're going to expand the size of the business, we've got to make sure that we're doing that without cutting any corners. And it's only through partners like yourself that we can do that in a really robust way. So
very gracious, thank you.
Have I plugged you well enough?
You have. I'm very proud of you. I might take you for a pint down the street afterwards.
Okay,
yeah. So if you've got people in the room who want to not just embed sustainability into their business, but I think what you guys are doing is you're doing that through the lens of innovation and trying to deliver innovation to your end consumer through the work you're doing in sustainability. What tips would you give to people to sort of blend those two ideas?
So I'll repeat myself. Start with your values and work backwards, and what you want to achieve. So go to the shelf, go to the product page on the website, go to the marketing release of that product that you want to market, and work out what that message is that you want to be able to say, and then start designing the project backwards. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. I know everyone says that, but the most fun is had from making mistakes in the pursuit of something that is genuinely awesome, particularly in the sustainability sphere. And it's weird. I find like a lot of innovation in this space is actually going back to the way that things were done in a previous time. We're just removing complexity. So don't be afraid of the word innovation. A lot of it does actually mean that we are removing a lot of red tape, removing a lot of complication, and genuinely having better relationships with the people that we're working with. So one of our targets this year is to work more with UK growers to create some of our products. And it means that we can physically go and see them. We can go and meet up with them rather than flying all over the world, which we don't get to do. So that would be my advice: make mistakes and enjoy it, and just
Top tip.
Who
would like to ask Will a question or two?
It's gonna be my marketing team, isn't it?
Sarah. Yeah.
It's really interesting when you're talking about that whole idea of innovation. Like Amy about, if we agree that we're at the forefront of something that is not there, is constantly evolve and we do that we're not all just if we are trying to do anything with products that requires innovation, presumably we also have to be brave enough. Hopefully you can do a big brand and everything looks to you. Say, oh, let's be safe, let's not say that. But surely we have to try and be brave enough to also say, well, at the point we made this was the best way we could do that. And now, actually, there's a better way and we're going to do that. Because that's the transparency in our own learning, just as we talk about education else, but we have to be demonstrating that we're learning as we go too. So it's okay and important that you go, actually, at the point we first did that one, we only did that rather than say, well, we won't say that one. But we've also got to be brave enough the next time to say, actually, we've learned since that, because this is now available, we can do that, and that's even better. That's leading with our education.
I completely agree with you. And I think the strongest message you can put across is that the decision we made was right at the time. And that's what we're all doing in this moment in time. So everything I'm saying right now might be completely invalid in 5 years' time, but I'll stick by my words. And for the first time in our impact report this year, we're talking about we're not perfect. This is what we're working on. And the number of times I've amended this pack that we send out to our wholesale about the evolution through PCR and aluminium and even compostables and where we were 10 years ago, where we are now, why we've changed our minds. You're exactly right. It's just, and again, that's part of having that new relationship with people where it's rather than just a supply and demand relationship, it's a shared knowledge and education piece, and not being afraid to take advice from one of your suppliers who may have already done that learning before you. So no, you're absolutely right. Thank you for that.
Any other questions for Will? You got off lightly.
I know.
Wow.
Everyone wants a donut.
That's it. It's donut time. Right. I want to say a big thank you to Jessica and to Joanne and to Will. I think what you saw there was 3 people really representing what's wonderful about our industry, which is luxury meets sustainability. And you saw 3 different forms of passion from 3 very different individuals, but really exciting from all of them. So thank you, and thank you, and thank you for that. Great businesses, exciting work they're doing. And thank you to everyone who's joined us today and for being here.